And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey, to 500,000 subscribers. So let's get there. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, and let's go because the chaos doesn't stop. Now, look, Trump was in the Middle East for less than 48 hours. It was a great day. Why'd he go there? To welcome the hostages back into Israel and then to speak at a peace summit in Egypt. As I said yesterday, these really are great steps in the right direction. But the second phase of negotiations for this peace treaty, obviously, are still underway. Now, on his way back to D.C. on Air Force One, he posted a very proud message on Truth Social. Let me show it to you. In it, he writes, heading back home to a very safe and beautiful Washington, D.C., accomplished so much today in Israel and Egypt. A lot of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It was an experience like no other. Now, all of those great countries that have fought so long and hard for the region have to come together and get the job done. Gaza is only a part of it. The big part is peace in the Middle East. Let me be very clear about something. I remember, and I've told this story, years ago, 2016, sitting with Trump, Ike Perlmutter, Henry Kissinger, and myself. And at that point in time, I'll never forget, he boldly stated to Henry Kissinger, yeah, I could get this done. Yeah, when I'm president, and by the way, he was president-elect at the time, when I'm president, I'll get this done. Well, pretty prescient, I'll tell you that. Now, the above-board diplomatic rhetoric didn't really last. When he started, of course, worry about petty stuff. When he started ranting about a magazine cover photo. Let me show it to you. In it, it turns around and he writes, Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? Well, I could understand his disdain for this photo because truth be told, it really is a shitty picture. Let me show it to you. Yeah, I mean, not 100% certain why they did that, why they thought that this was an appropriate picture. There's obviously a reason why, and I'm sure it's not for a good reason. I don't know. I've actually had a photo done of me in Time magazine. Let me see if we have it. Certainly a much better angle than the one that they did for Donald. Now, by the way, that's just a joke photo. Although Trump didn't receive the Nobel Peace Prize last week, the campaigning for next year's prize, well, it's already begun, right? Like the song goes, it's only just begun, right? Here's MAGA Mike Johnson just this morning making the pitch. Play the clip.
I'm going to make an announcement today. It's the announcement in the U.S. that was made in the Knesset yesterday. I'm proud to tell you that together with my friend Speaker Ohana of the Israeli Knesset, the equivalent of our Congress, we're going to embark upon a project together to rally speakers and presidents of parliaments around the world so that we will jointly nominate President Donald J. Trump for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. No one has ever deserved that prize more, and that is an objective fact. As Speaker Ohana said before the Knesset yesterday, quote, whoever saves one life, it is though he has saved an entire world. That's what some of the rabbis there would say, some of the sages he noted would say. It's an indisputable fact that no president has undertaken the work of saving lives and pursuing peace with such determination and with such remarkable success as President Trump. And under his leadership, we are witnessing the dawn of a new golden age, not just for America, but for the entire free world. The world is changed by these actions and strong leadership. American strength is good for free people around the world, as we say always, and peace through strength is maintained.
Okay, 100%. If in fact Donald Trump, as I said in my story before, is successful in bringing peace to the Middle East, something that has been going on for thousands of years, Absolutely. Give them the Nobel Peace Prize. I will be the first one to turn around and to write to them and to say, hey, yeah, the guy deserves it. But right now, we're not even finished with phase one. You say, really? How's that possible? Well, I don't know. We're still waiting for 24 Israeli bodies to be returned. That's part of the phase one deal. Hamas still hasn't even been able to do that. In fact, you know what Hamas is actually doing right now? I read it this morning. They're executing Palestinians literally in the streets of Gaza simply to show people who's in control. This is going to be a dangerous game. Now, of course, back to Trump. While on Air Force One last night, coming back, Trump spoke to reporters, and he joked about if Caroline Leavitt should be replaced. Play the clip.
I've never failed in working it out like immediately. Is that right? How's Caroline doing? Is she doing good? Should Caroline be replaced?
No. That's up to you, sir.
It'll never happen.
Nobody wants to.
I say she does a great job.
Do you want to elaborate on the
And those lips, they move like a machine gun, right?
Whoa. I don't even know what that means. Machine gun lips? I don't know. Meanwhile, Trump was then asked if he had a message for J.B. Pritzker. Now, of course, that ICE has really moved into Chicago. Play the clip.
I'll be speaking to Governor J.B. Pritzker tomorrow. Do you have any messages or questions for him?
Well, I think he should beg for help because he's running a bad operation.
Yeah, beg for help. He's running a bad operation. Again, these are not accurate statements. In fact, Chicago is actually doing quite well right now in terms of crime. Yes, crime still exists. Crime still exists in D.C. Crime exists literally around the block from Mar-a-Lago. Crime, sadly, exists everywhere. He even spoke, this is crazy, he even spoke about how there is little crime in Egypt. Play that clip.
Mr. President, you spoke
Here we
to
go.
Egypt.
She can ask more questions this way. Go ahead.
I have some good questions, I
You
promise.
do. You were very nice to me. Go ahead.
You talked to President El-Sisi, and you spoke about in that room how Egypt has so little crime, and you said it's all about leadership. You talked about
Well, they're very strong.
you talked about some of the governors.
You wouldn't believe how strong, but they are very strong, but they don't have the kind of crime. They don't have the violent, they may have other kinds of crime, but they're violent crime. You can actually walk down a park and not get mugged or hit over the head with a
Do you
baseball.
want to see some
By the way, he happens to be correct about that. In terms of violent crime, yeah, Egypt is on the lower side of what's referred to as the crime index. But everything else, muggings, scams, stabbings, things like that, all right, they're at 47.3 out of 100 on the crime index. So they're somewhere middle of the road. Now, mind you, a reporter then asked Trump if he wants U.S. governors to be more like Egypt. And he responds that no, he wants our governors just to be tougher. Play that clip.
Do you want to see some U.S. governors be more like Egypt?
No, I want it to be stronger and tougher and not allow us to have record-breaking crime in Chicago and different places. I want them to admit they have crime. So there were 4,000 shootings in Chicago, murders over a fairly short period of time, meaning like a year and a half, I think, maybe 4,000 murders. Many, many thousands of you're hit by a bullet but don't die. I want him to say we have a problem. Could Trump bring in the troops and solve the problem like I did in D.C., like I'm doing in Memphis? Have you seen the crime's way down in Memphis, and we've only been there 7 days? Way down.
Yeah. What about like Cleveland? What about actually even Palm Beach? What about areas that are controlled by, Republicans? Crime is everywhere. And if you want to talk about tough, well, somebody's going to have to be really, really tough going forward. And I'm referring to New York Attorney General Tish James. She is a great example of what is going to be needed in order to fight off what's going on. And that's called toughness. Because last night, she tried to project that as she spoke at the New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani's rally. Play that clip.
You see, I know what it feels like to be attacked for just doing your job. But I also know what it feels like to overcome adversity. And so I stand on solid rock. And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up. You come for me, you gotta come to all of us. All of us. Every single one of us. We're all in this together.
No, Tish. And speaking from experience, when they come after you and the bills start piling up and the documents start being thrown onto the table in front of you, not one of those 3,000 people in that auditorium are going to be standing with you, paying those bills and worrying about how long of a sentence the judge is going to be issuing to you. Now, let me be clear. Strong women, Trump doesn't care for them. That's just something that we've seen again and again. And like I said, it's just not new. Well, yesterday, during his speech at the Peace Summit in Egypt, Trump started rambling about how pretty the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, is. I want you to watch her face behind him, as well as Keir Starmer's on the right. Play the clip.
So thank you very much. Italy, we have a young woman who's, I'm not allowed to say it because usually it's the end of your political career if you say it. She's a beautiful young woman. Now, if you use the word beautiful in the United States about a woman, that's the end of your political career, but I'll take my chances. Where is she? There she is. You don't mind being called beautiful, right? Because you are. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. She wanted to be here, and she's incredible, and they really respect her in Italy. She's a very successful politician.
She is. By the way, she happens to be a very nice-looking lady. But how is this relevant to this summit? I mean, again, I just don't know why he deviates from the script. Now, during a conversation on CNN, a guest tried to claim that Trump's unorthodox leadership is working, as seen, of course, through the Middle East. But Washington Post journalist Josh Rogin pointed out that his method is not successful with our allies. Play the clip.
Zelensky in the Oval Office, too. I think we can finally agree now, though, to your point, that it's actually an asset, that he's a maverick when it comes to foreign policy.
It can be.
Because he was an unconventional guy when it came to this deal.
When it breaks, right, unpredictability can be fine, but for allies, it's 100% bad. And I talk to allies in Asia and Europe all the time, and they're not happy.
I would actually disagree with that, too, because, for example, when it came to the Israeli strike in Qatar and the Hamas leaders, he reprimanded Bibi publicly, and
sure.
But
Japan can't give them a plane, so they can't get that kind of treatment.
But listen,
because they're a democracy, so they can't just buy them off.
I want to use that example. I want to use
so if you've got a plane, then you can be on your side. If you don't have a plane to give them,
it's about game theory.
You've got a tough run.
And Trump is actually pretty good at game theory.
Corruption is part of game theory, but that doesn't make it okay.
But one of the things about this.
Yeah, let me be clear. I get asked all the time to come on this show, this cackling bullshit back and forth when nobody can speak. You're not allowed to make a point, whether you agree with that point or not. I also don't understand CNN's desire within which to engage in this sort of back and forth. It's not productive. It's not interesting. It's not fun to watch. And you learn absolutely nothing other than, I don't know, somebody's going to say something stupid on one side, and the other side is going to turn around and try to say something even stupider. It's why I turn around and I say, please share these episodes. Subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because unless we put a stop to this chaos, this is what we're going to be living with for the next 3+ years, or maybe more. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.